This is Stay Paid, the marketing podcast that gives listeners a competitive edge to stay motivated, find inspiration, and discover proven real-world tactics from some of the best marketers across the nation.
Welcome to another Silver Dollar episode of Stay Paid. My name is Joshua Stike.
And I'm Luke Akery.
And Luke, nobody likes making mistakes, and we all fear messing up, whether it's with a client, a boss, or with family. However, it can also be true for some that they fear success just as much as failure. With success comes more responsibility, more attention, and potentially more opportunities to mess up again. However, to truly thrive in life, we have to pursue our goals and dreams, even if they scare us a little. What do you think about that? The idea that some people can have a fear of success.
I can actually see it because if you think of your brain is constantly looking to create reasons of why it's acceptable to be where you're at. Right? It's like the hardest piece for people, at least for myself, because I can only speak personally about myself, is like you constantly need to be growing, but you want to make an excuse for yourself not growing because growing is hard. Because you actually have to step out and you actually have to do something. You actually have to change, and change is hard, right? And so it's like fearing success, fearing failure. Like I do buy the fearing of success because you want to, and I see this often. People might not like this take, but I believe in this wholeheartedly. You know where I see people stopping themselves so much from actually doing something and growing and pushing themselves to the next level is they take altruism and they use that as a way to paralyze themselves. So oftentimes I see people, here's what I mean by that. Yeah. I see people, they're not growing, and they don't push themselves in their business, they don't push themselves to be better in their life or whatever it is. And then they start talking about, it's not about the material, it's not about the money, it's not about these things. And all that is true. It's all true.
It's not about the result of the success.
But they use that. Right. They use that as a way to give themselves paralysis or to give themselves something acceptable of the reason why they're not growing. Oh, because I don't believe in those things. No. What it is you're too scared to get out there and see if you'll actually be able to accomplish those things. Get out there and try to accomplish those things, because when you accomplish those things, you get a bigger platform to actually do the things that you just said you believed in.
Yeah, dude.
So that's my hot take right there. I don't know why I was so passionate about it.
No, dude, I love it. Actually, something you said. Well, I was going to say, like, because we're wired, and again, this is an excuse. You know, it's easy to say, like, we're wired for familiar, right?
Yes.
We're wired to avoid change because change can have consequences, right? So our brains, like, we go to the comfort, we go to the familiar in order to not have to experience that. So it's super true, but it's not an excuse. Here's some signs that you might have if you fear failure. So this is according to betterup.com. We'll kind of look at the success side as well. But if you're avoiding tasks, if you're feeling powerless, hopeless, or out of control, if you're experiencing anxiety, or if you're being indecisive on something, those are signs that you might be fearing failure. And then signs that you may that might mean you're fearing success is you set low goals, right? So you're not challenging yourself. You're trying to keep yourself where you are in life. Maybe you're leaning on your perfectionism, right? You set expectations so high that you can't succeed at them. You tend to quit early, or this is a tough one, man. You might be sabotaging yourself, maybe self-destructive behavior, alcohol, drugs. You might be kind of escaping reality or what you need to get done by sabotaging yourself. And because of that fear of success or growing.
It's kind of, I would tell people, because like I want to try to encourage you on the things that have helped me when I have a block, right? You have a blocker in your mind, you have paralysis for whatever reason, is you have to just do something.
Yeah.
So it's like today, not to be funny, I was working out abs in the gym, and I don't like working out abs.
Abs are the worst.
Right?
Man.
And I had watched
I don't know why.
They're the freaking worst. But I watched a video of this guy doing this 8-minute ab exercise, pretty intense. And so I start doing it, and I realize I can't do it for the minute he's doing it and the intensity he's doing it. I can't do it. But I realized just do it for the 20 seconds that you can do it.
Yes.
And what was crazy is by the end of my workout, guess what? I'm feeling better about myself. I feel more motivated.
Yes.
I actually went back and tried more ab exercises. And that is how the human brain works. But that is how life works. It's like things that are not in motion take the most effort to get into motion. But when they get into motion, it's so much easier to stay in motion.
Yeah.
And so it's like the physics of it. It's the same for your mental block. It's like you just got to do something. So if you don't want to write the paper, just start writing.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter if you keep any of it. Just start, write something, just a free flow of thoughts. Even if you're going to delete it all, it's a waste. Because it gets you in motion. If you don't want to make the phone calls, just make a phone call and get hung up on. Here's the excuse that so many of us make when it comes to our phone calls. I don't want to waste the lead. I'm wasting the lead. No, you're wasting it no matter what. So just go ahead and get on that phone.
Don't want to waste the lead.
Meaning like so many people don't make the phone call because they don't feel prepared on what they're going to say. So they end up don't making the phone call because they go, I'm going to butcher it when I get on. You're better
wasting it anyway.
Butchering it.
Because and learning.
You get into motion.
Yeah.
And that's how you overcome fear. That's how you overcome the fear of success or failure is you got to get into motion, because when you get into motion and you start moving, all of a sudden it's so much easier to change.
And it's the idea of compressing that learning curve also. I can't remember who we had.
David Alvarado.
Yeah, talking about this idea of compressing the learning curve by making more activities so that you can fail, learn, and then instead of stretching that out over 6 months, put that into a month. So by month 2, you've already got all that experience. Here's some other ideas for how to overcome your fear. I think this is from verywealth.com and betterup.com. So you can acknowledge and accept your fears. You're not alone or strange for having the fear. You accepted your fear of abs.
Yeah.
And you said, you know what?
I'm
going to own
fear.
this. I'm going to do 20 seconds instead of a minute. You want to see all the possibilities. So people who take risks know that they may fail, but know that they might also succeed. So play out those possibilities in your mind. Embrace growth. Failures are a learning opportunity. Keep that in mind. This idea of being grateful for those learning opportunities as well helps you embrace the growth. Know that you aren't a success or failure, right? So if you fail, you are not a failure. You failed at a thing. Visualize what success looks like. Redefine success and failure. So not everyone has the same definition of what a success is. You know, some might want to make more money. Some might want to better their relationships. And those don't have to be split and separate either. You can have both, but not everyone has the same definition of success. Write it down. Right. So what good things happened because of what you did? And then I think most importantly, you got to step outside your comfort zone, which is what we were talking about a little bit.
This is so good. I would encourage people that so often the fear of failure comes from the fear of what others think of your failure. And maybe you've heard that before. So what does it mean that you need to see? Like when I think about myself, a lot of times people get an opinion of you that is different. Maybe it's higher than what you even realize you are. And you want to try to keep that facade going. Yeah. So like a perfect example, Josh and I are great marketers and great business people, right? So that's the maybe the image out there to the world. So what does that mean for us? What that means is we're really scared now or get nervous revealing that maybe we aren't the best business people or maybe we aren't the best marketers. And so all of a sudden we don't want to try a video because maybe that video is going to come across the wrong way of this image that's been created about us, right? So it holds us back. So you've got to do what? You've got to realize, hey, I'm going to be absolutely transparent and real. And here's how you do that. You got to determine where you get your identity and self-worth from. Where does your self-worth and identity come from? It might have to be
a follow-up episode.
It maybe has to. Yeah. But I mean, that is the key. Like, because once you realize where your identity comes from, where you get your self-worth from, all of a sudden you can fail.
Yeah, you have so much more confidence.
Yeah, you can fail. You can succeed because you know who you are. And it's most people get their identity from others. That's unfortunate, but most people do.
Yeah, so true. Thank you all for listening. You can head on over to staypaidpodcast.com for the show notes and the video
we're
of this
not
episode.
Perfect.
We are definitely not perfect. If you're looking for ways to support the show, head on over to remindermedia.com/shop. That's a dumb. We should have chosen a different URL. /shop. You gotta like it all. It's like Josh Stike. You know, it all blends into each other. That's why I always say Joshua Stike on the podcast.
Is that really?
Yeah, because it sounds weird. Like no one calls me Joshua except for my mother and my brother, I think. But Josh Stike, you know, it just kind of all blends together. Anyway, guys.
Joshua when she was mad though?
No, Joshua.
She literally calls you Joshua?
Yeah, pretty much all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never asked you if you prefer Joshua.
I think most
Josh.
of my family probably calls me Joshua most of the time.
I'm going to start calling him Joshua now. No.
Your family, Luke. Head over to remindermedia.com/shop. You can pick up some swag over there. We got Stay Paid shirts and hats and sweatshirts, all kinds of really great stuff, and it helps support the show. Actually, we make no money off it. It does nothing. It's just you're showing your support.
We make no money off of it. Trust me.
We literally break even. In fact, I think it costs us a couple bucks. But hey, we'd love it if you we're rocking some Stay Paid gear. How cool would that be to run into somebody?
Take your pictures and tag us if you buy it.
How amazing! I'm just waiting for the day that I run into somebody and they're wearing Stay Paid gear.
Cool.
That'd be amazing. Here's a dad joke for you. What did the grape say? Speaking of failure, and feeling bad, what did the grape say when it was crushed? Nothing. It just let out a little whine.
I knew it had something to do with wine.
Hey, we got the soundboard back. If you want to get a hold of me, Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com, or you can find us on social media. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Look, we all fear failure. We all fear what people think about our failure. I would encourage you, the action item from this is to get into motion, right? So what is the task? What is the mental blocker? What is the thing that's holding you back? You will not be perfect at your execution of trying to overcome it, but just do something, right? It's the Nike. Just do it. Get into motion, because motion is so much easier to keep going and you can change. Then remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business is top producers take action. Take action on that today.